If you keep making excuses, you'll wake up one day and realize you never lived your real life. Let's cut the noise for a second and get real. Excuses are not about laziness. They're about protection. Your mind is hardwired to keep you safe, not to make you extraordinary. So when things get hard, uncomfortable, or uncertain, your brain throws up walls disguised as reasons. I don't have the money. What if I fail? You think these thoughts are facts, but they're not. They're just familiar stories your subconscious tells you so you don't have to face the possibility of pain. But the cost, your potential. Your fire, you see, most people aren't held back by their circumstances. They're held hostage by their own narratives. And the most dangerous part, they actually believe them. Now think about this. Every time you make an excuse, what you're really doing is making a deal with mediocrity. You're saying, this discomfort is too much, so I'll settle for less. You're negotiating against your own greatness. But the 1%, they don't negotiate with excuses. They recognize them for what they are, a virus in the operating system, and they delete them before they spread. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending life's easy. It's not. Life will break you, test you, and challenge you when you least expect it. But that's not an excuse to lower your standards. It's a call to raise them. The top 1% see adversity as fuel. Resistance becomes their gym. And when most people look for the exit, they double down and go deeper. Because here's the truth. Every excuse you make pushes your goals one step further away and brings your regrets one step closer. That's not philosophy. That's math. You either get results or you get reasons. You can't have both. I've worked with people who had every reason to fail. Poverty, trauma, broken families, no connections. But you know what they had? Hunger, clarity, an uncompromising belief that the story they were handed was not the one they were going to live. And that mindset, that refusal to play victim, that's what creates transformation. So ask yourself right now, what's the story you've been telling yourself that's keeping you stuck? Is it that you're too old, too young, not smart enough? Not ready. All those are just masks your fear is wearing. Rip them off. Stop trying to be perfect and start trying to be powerful, because excuses don't protect you. They paralyze you. They keep you small in the name of safety. If you want to step into the life you were meant for, you need to start telling yourself the truth, not the version that's easy or comfortable, the version that sets you free. And here's the truth. You're not broken. You're just undisciplined. You don't lack talent. You lack focus. And you don't need more time. You need to stop wasting it. Every single time you choose to show up when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when you don't feel like it, you're making a deposit into the person you want to become. And one day that investment is going to pay off in ways that will blow your mind. But it starts here, right now. No more excuses, because the version of you that wins has already stopped making them. You have to understand something. Most people never realize your environment is lying to you. From the moment you wake up, you're hit with noise, notifications, headlines, conversations, all designed to pull your focus away from yourself and onto everything else, distractions. And while you think you're just scrolling or just passing time, you're actually trading away your power. Every moment you spend distracted is a moment you're not building, not growing, not becoming. The 1%, the people you admire, envy, or want to become, they don't live in that noise. They create a boundary between what matters and what doesn't, and they fiercely protect it. They understand something most people ignore. Growth demands intention. You don't just stumble into a better life. You design it brick by brick, thought by thought, habit by habit. The mind left unmanaged is a slave to comfort. It seeks easy routes, familiar patterns, and quick dopamine. But if you want to grow, truly grow, you need to break that internal agreement with comfort, because comfort doesn't care about your potential. It cares about predictability. And predictability is the death of growth. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat with yourself, no phone, no noise, and ask it, what am I doing with my life? That silence, that discomfort. That's where growth begins. Because when you remove the distractions, you're forced to confront the truth. And truth is the birthplace of transformation. But it's not easy. You'll want to run back to your habits, your excuses. You'll justify why you need a break or why this isn't the right time. But deep down, you're lying to yourself. Growth has a cost. It demands focus. And focus is a discipline, not a mood. Not a feeling, a choice. The difference between people who make it and people who don't. It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's the ability to say no to distractions, no to comfort, no to anything that doesn't serve the mission. They operate with what I call a sacred focus, where their goals aren't optional. They're non-negotiable. You want to change your life and control your inputs. Audit what you allow into your mind. Start treating your attention like your most precious resource, because it is. That's the currency of the 1%, not money. Focus. And once you reclaim that, once you shut the door on distractions and open the door to discipline, your life starts to align. You become sharper, hungrier, more resilient, because now your days are not dictated by chance. They're fueled by purpose. You stop reacting and you start building. People will call you obsessed. They'll say you've changed. Good. That's the point. Growth looks like insanity to people who've accepted mediocrity. So make peace with being misunderstood, because you weren't born to fit in. You were built to rise. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for motivation. Lock in, block out the noise, and become dangerous to your limitations. Your future is begging for your attention, not your excuses. Most people live their lives reacting to stress, reacting to failure, reacting to people, to situations, constantly in defense mode. And here's the truth that hits hard: as long as you're reacting, you're not leading, you're surviving. And survival isn't the standard anymore. Not for you. Not if you truly want to become the 1%. What separates the few who break through from the masses stuck in the loop is this: they don't react to life, they respond to it with strategy. And that strategy comes from self-awareness. Without it, you're just drifting, hoping something changes. But the 1%, they don't hope. They take control. They know exactly who they are, what they want, and more importantly, who they're not willing to be anymore. If you want to grow, you must become ruthlessly honest with yourself. You must confront your patterns, not just your behaviors, your beliefs, because the results you're getting in life are a direct reflection of the standards you've settled for in your mind. And most people don't even realize it. They say things like, "This is just how I am," or "I'm doing my best." But let me tell you something: your best changes when your standards change. Your identity, what you believe you're capable of, is not fixed. It's shaped by what you tolerate. It's shaped by what you allow to continue. So the question becomes, what are you allowing that's keeping you small? What story are you still telling yourself that keeps you comfortable but not fulfilled? Maybe it's the belief that you're not ready, or that others are more talented, or that success isn't meant for people like you. That voice in your head, that's not truth. That's programming, built from fear, failure, and past experiences. And unless you interrupt that pattern, it will quietly become your reality. Here's the shift: stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I never try?" What if you're not even close to your potential because you've never truly demanded it from yourself? The 1% make decisions from the version of themselves they are becoming, not the one they used to be. They move from vision, not from memory. They don't look at who they were. They stay locked in on who they must become. That's power. That's leadership. That's growth. You have to ask yourself, are your habits matching your ambition? Are your standards aligned with the life you claim to want? Because if not, something has to change, and not someday. Now, the truth is, life will never hand you the perfect moment to level up. You will never feel 100% ready, but the 1% move anyway. They understand that clarity is not something you wait for. It's something you create through courageous action. This is your edge of your ability to decide, to say, "I'm done waiting. I'm done hesitating. I'm not negotiating with my old self anymore." That's when transformation begins. When you take full ownership, not of what happens to you, but of how you respond, what you believe, and who you choose to be. And in that moment, when you finally stop playing small, when you silence the noise and raise your standard, the world will begin to respond differently to you. Because you're no longer showing up as a participant, you're stepping into the arena as a force. Growth isn't something you stumble into, it's something you fight for, bleed for, and build brick by brick. This is the moment. Choose the higher standard. Choose the next level. Choose you. Let me tell you something most people will never admit: success isn't hard because of the external challenges. It's hard because of the internal noise. Distractions don't just come from your phone, your surroundings, or other people. The most dangerous ones come from within: your doubts, your impulses, that little voice that constantly tells you, "Take it easy, do it later, you've already done enough." That's not your intuition. That's your fear in disguise. The truth is, discipline is not just about doing things you don't want to do. It's about protecting your focus. It's about understanding that your energy, your attention, your time, their currency, and how you spend them will shape everything about your future. The 1%, they don't wait until they feel like it. They don't wait until motivation strikes. They build systems that eliminate the option to fail. Their discipline is not about willpower. It's about designing their environment, their habits, and their mindset so that success becomes inevitable. See, here's what most people don't realize. Your brain is built to conserve energy. It's trying to keep you safe, comfortable, and predictable. That's not your fault. It's biology. But the greats, the elite, they rewire that. They train themselves to lean into discomfort, to thrive in pressure, to associate effort with power, not pain. Discipline at its core is an act of self-respect. It's saying, "I matter enough to follow through." It's saying, "My future deserves consistency." But here's the catch. That kind of identity doesn't just show up one day. It's forged in early mornings, in quiet nights, in moments when no one is watching. And that's where most people fall off, because they think someone is supposed to push them. That something external will keep them going. A coach, a deadline, a paycheck. But let me tell you something. You are the only one responsible for your greatness. No one is coming to do the reps for you. No one's going to shut down your distractions for you. No one's going to give you back the time you've wasted. Only you. The 1% understand that discipline is freedom, not a punishment, not a burden, but liberation. Because once you master yourself, your urges, your routines, your reactions, you become unstoppable. You stop leaking energy. You stop chasing things that don't matter. You stop negotiating with mediocrity. And that's where real momentum begins. It doesn't look sexy at first. It looks like repetition, boredom, doing the hard things when no one applauds. But that's the battlefield where greatness is born, in the moments that feel small, showing up again and again and again. When quitting would be easy and no one would judge you for it. except the future version of yourself, watching and wondering why you settled. So I ask you, how much longer will you keep giving your power away to distraction? How much longer will you let temporary comfort steal your long-term greatness? This is not about intensity. It's about consistency. Intensity may feel good in the moment, but consistency is what wins championships, what builds legacies, what transforms identity. Discipline is no longer a choice. It's the price of your next level. If you want to become the 1%, then stop chasing motivation and start becoming the person who does it anyway. That's the standard now. And if you can raise that standard, not just once, but every day, nothing and no one will be able to stop the force you become. There comes a moment when you have to confront the truth. You can't keep operating from your past and expect a future that looks anything different. Too many people are dragging their history into every decision, every habit, every relationship, and then wondering why they can't move forward. The 1%, they don't let the past define their capacity. They use it to sharpen their edge, not dull their future. Look, we've all been through things. Some of you were raised in chaos. Some were underestimated your whole life. Others made mistakes you can't forgive yourself for. I get it. But you can't heal in the same identity that hurt you. You can't build a new level of life with the same patterns that broke you. Transformation starts the moment you decide, I am no longer available for the version of me that just copes, just survives, just explains. You have to become unavailable for mediocrity, unavailable for excuses, unavailable for anything that dishonors the future you are capable of creating. And that future, it doesn't exist in theory, it exists in identity shift. In upgrading how you see yourself, what you tolerate, and what you expect from your life. Here's something most people miss. You are always living in alignment with who you believe you are. If deep down you still see yourself as broken, behind, not good enough, you'll unconsciously sabotage every opportunity that doesn't match that belief. Not because you don't want it, because you haven't become the person who believes they're worthy of it. That's the real work. You don't attract what you wish for. You attract what you are. And the elite, the 1%, they spend more time constructing their identity than chasing external validation, because they understand that every next level of life demands a different version of them, not a better version, a bolder one, a more honest one, a more aligned one. This means letting go of identities that once protected you. Maybe that loner mindset kept you safe in chaos. Maybe that people pleaser identity helped you survive tough environments. But those patterns, they're not serving your expansion anymore. And if you don't release them, they'll quietly limit you for the rest of your life. You have to get clear, who do I need to become to live the life I say I want? It's not about faking it. It's about growing into it. It's about showing up today as if you already are that person. What would they do right now? What habits would they kill off immediately? What boundaries would they set? What would they stop apologizing for? Let me say this clearly. You can't wait until the world believes in you. That's your job. That's your work. That's your responsibility. And if you don't do it, someone else will define you, your circumstances, your past, your critics. But when you take the pen back and start writing your own narrative, that's where everything changes. You were not born to stay stuck in survival mode. You were not born to repeat your pain. You were born to evolve. And evolution doesn't require permission, just a decision to kill off the version of you that's addicted to the struggle and step into the version of you that's obsessed with growth. So if you want a new outcome, you don't need more information. You need new self-image, a new level of emotional maturity. Because once your identity rises, your actions rise. And once your actions, your results follow. Always. The world will start treating you differently the moment you treat yourself differently. And that shift, that unshakable transformation starts now. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you went all in on something, truly all in, without a safety net, without a plan B, without constantly looking back, wondering, what if this doesn't work? Most people never experience real momentum in their lives, not because they lack talent, discipline, or desire, but because they're half commit to everything. 1 foot in, 1 foot out, always reserving energy, always playing defense. And that right there is the death of progress. You want to know what separates the top 1% from everyone else. It's this: they burn the boats. They don't operate with exit strategies in their head. They decide, they commit, and then they become the kind of person who follows through no matter what. Because when you remove the option to back out, your only choice becomes grow, evolve, or get crushed. And those are the conditions where the real you gets born. Now I get it. This world is loud. It's full of distractions. Algorithms pulling your attention, people selling you shortcuts, society pressuring you to look successful before you're successful. But here's what the elite understand: distraction is the enemy of direction. You can't build something great if you're constantly scrolling, reacting, second-guessing, comparing. That's not strategy, that's sabotage, that's self-betrayal on loop. So what does the 1% do differently? They live with urgency, but not the frantic, anxious kind. I'm talking about the kind of urgency that comes from knowing you're not promised more time. The kind that makes you wake up and ask, if this was the year I finally broke through, what would that actually demand of me? They protect their focus like it's their lifeline, because it is. You see, clarity is power, and the clearer you are about who you are, what you're here to build, the more dangerous you become to anything that tries to stop you. Clarity only shows up after you clear the noise. And that means discipline. That means creating a life that's designed for depth, not distraction. It means fewer tabs open in your browser and in your brain. Fewer yeses to things that dilute your purpose. It means choosing growth over comfort 1,000 times, even when no one's watching. Because here's the truth. You don't get the rewards of the 1% with the habits of the 99%. You don't build greatness casually. You build it intentionally, deliberately, obsessively. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. And that design starts with the decision, I'm done tolerating anything that keeps me average. You've got to be ruthless about what stays in your life. People, habits, thoughts, environments. If it doesn't feed your future, it doesn't get to stay. Because this version of you, the one listening, the one that knows they're capable of more, that version won't thrive in chaos. It thrives in clarity, in momentum, in purpose. You don't need a new opportunity. You need a new level of commitment. You need to stop flirting with your potential and finally marry it. Lock it down. Show up for it every day, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when no one claps for you. Because that's what builds champions. Not talent, not luck. But relentless focus in distracted world. So from this moment on, let this be your mantra. No excuses, no distractions, only growth. Say it, live it. And watch what happens when your focus becomes more powerful than your fear. So now you've heard it. You felt it in your chest. That fire, that pull, that whisper deep inside saying, this message was for you and not for the old version of you. The one who hesitated, who played small, who waited for permission. No, this was for the version of you that's been locked in the cage of comfort, dying to break out, dying to become. But here's the deal. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to rescue you. No one's coming to make you great. That part, that's on you. This world doesn't hand out success. It hands out opportunity. And then it watches who's serious enough to take it. You can either keep telling yourself the same stories have kept you stuck, or you can decide that today is the line in the sand. The day you choose growth over excuses, discipline over distractions, legacy over comfort. Because when you make that choice, everything changes. Not instantly, not easily, but permanently. So ask yourself right now, are you ready to become the 1%? If the answer is yes, then stop waiting. Start building. Start moving. Start becoming. Because the future you want, it's already watching, and it's begging you to catch up. Subscribe for more videos.